Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to my Mars series. So in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the Cancer leader. So looking at Mars in Cancer as a way to describe the Cancer leadership. If you would like to know more information about the Mars signs and the Mars houses and the archetype of Aries and the first house within astrology, then I have created an Aries season/archetype ebook. I'm going to put a link to that ebook in the description box below so you can pick up your copy today. So with all of those introductions out of the way, Mars in Cancer. Let's do this. Okay, so what I want you to imagine is that the Mars signs are all taking part in a race. Now it's going to be the Mars in Cancer that's going to send their family member to the race before it starts to suss things out, just to see, just to see, is it really something that I feel like doing? Okay. Not every Mars in Cancer person is gonna be a homebody, stay-at-home body type of person who doesn't want to leave their house. I mean, sure, yes, the Mars in Cancer is going to enjoy being wrapped up in the arms of their partner, or wrapped up in the arms of a loved one, or just wrapped up in a lovely, cozy atmosphere within the very walls of their own home. But do not get it mistaken, guys, because the Mars in Cancer leader is a pretty strong leader. After all, this is cardinal energy, and so cardinal signs are known for being leaders. But it's the way that the Mars in Cancer leads. So to rephrase this race that the Mars in Cancer is going to take part in, what the Mars in Cancer might actually do is that on the day of that race, they will suss out that atmosphere, okay? They're gonna know, I don't want to speak to that person because I'm feeling weird vibes from that person, or yes, I should go and speak to that person because I feel like my energy levels are gonna boost up when I'm around that person. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that this cardinal water sign, Mars in Cancer, is gonna be great at being able to know which people to vibe with, which people to vibe with, and which people to just stay completely away from. The Mars in Cancer leader is going to be able to know which people they can feel secure enough around, and then use that energy to their advantage, to their benefit, and then they can progress further. They can then sort of lead themselves into a much better, more effective position. Seriously, whenever the Mars in Cancer is around someone who is more upbeat, more optimistic about life and everything, they're gonna feel more upbeat and more optimistic about life. But then if they're around someone who's maybe a bit more doom and gloom, who can be quite negative and pessimistic and cynical about things, then they may get on like that as well, because basically what they do is they just reflect back the same kind of energy that is being shown. After all, it is the moon that rules the sign of Cancer, and the moon is a reflective planet. However, at the same time, the Mars in Cancer leader may also be very good at actually just taking themselves away from any potential negative energy that they feel is going to put them into that space. So, if it is a situation where they are in a firm or a company, the Mars in Cancer leader may be able to suss out pretty quickly which people do I feel like I can connect with, or which people do I get good vibes from, and which people do I not really get good vibes from. Because if they pick up on negativity from the atmosphere from other people, they may avoid those people. even when it comes to their own home life and things like that. The Mars in Cancer is going to be very receptive to the feelings and emotions of their family. And so that in itself can put the Mars in Cancer into a bit of a low mood if maybe is that their family's going through something. They're really gonna feel all of the struggles, all of the difficulties that can come with, you know, family conflicts, for example, or family disagreements, or just they can be really sensitive to arguments amongst the family members. And if that happens for the Mars in Cancer, that Mars in Cancer may possibly hold a lot of that anger within them, and so it's good for them to learn how to get a healthy outlet for anger. See, the thing about our family, right, is that they're kind of difficult to avoid. So if it is that a Mars in Cancer grows up in a family household where there's a lot of arguments and a lot of disputes, the Mars in Cancer, of course, cannot physically avoid those things, but maybe they just become emotionally attached to those things. All I know is that I'm feeling a certain way about this and they're feeling a certain way about this, but how do we actually move past this? Because I don't want to devalue that person's emotions, and then I also don't want to devalue mine. Disputes and arguments and being confrontational, it's almost like they know that it can get to this like almost erupting explosive place, and so they may just you know, avoid it. And so with that avoidance, yes, it can be really good in terms of them avoiding certain negative energies, but at the same time, that avoidance can actually bring trouble to their door because they're not approaching the situation. This is the thing about passive energy here, because this is a highly passive sign. But just because they step away from it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, doesn't mean that it's not there. And so this is why it's important for the Mars in Cancer leader to learn how to assert their energy more effectively. So to have a healthy emotional outlet for themselves. For example, the Mars in Cancer could go and just be by the water. They could go to the beach, they could take a really nice shower, or have a lovely bath. They could wash their hair. They could even just try drinking some nice hot tea, or having some water, just to drink some water. Another way would be exercise. So not to push themselves, you know, not to overdo it, not vigorous exercise, but just exercise that feels right to them, you know, just enough just to do them where they feel like, oh yeah, I did that, I feel great, this is good, I feel accomplished. Another healthy outlet they could have could just be simply sitting down with their friend or someone they love or they're close with, and just having a good heart-to-heart talk, or just opening up with one another, just to really get out properly how they feel with another person. They're going to be the types of leaders who can motivate other people, especially if that person is just feeling down or feeling a little bit low, because that's the thing about Mars in Cancer, is that they can be great at just encouraging others who are going through their own emotional tides. And probably the reason for why this is mostly is because they understand it themselves. They're like, yeah, I've been here before, I know what this feels like. They're just going to be so supportive, so supportive. So if it is that the Mars in Cancer wants to be a leader within a firm or a company, you might even find them being that leader within that firm who supports the staff, supports the workers. You know, this doesn't even necessarily have to be where they fill a position or a post, but maybe it's just that people within that firm gravitate towards them because they feel comfortable with the Mars in Cancer. And so by just, for example, them sitting at the staff room table having a chat with whoever the person is, maybe that person looks to the Mars in Cancer as this great figure, like, whoa, you just understand me, you get me on so many levels. So that in itself is the Mars in Cancer using their leadership skills, but not in this direct way. So they could be those leaders who listen to the employees or the staff. And because they are so receptive, they're able to pick up on the messages and signals and the stimuli from the outer environments and inner environments. So if it is that they are, for example, in a staff meeting, or they're in a group, or a team, the Mars in Cancer is going to be very good at picking up on the signals and the stimuli coming from those different members. And so from them picking up on that, they're able to receive certain signals to themselves, and they may just suddenly say, you know, I really feel like Thomas would be great at doing that, or I really feel that Stephen would excel in that because of this, this, and this. See, they might not be able to pinpoint exactly why the feeling is there. I mean, what's the reasoning for it? What's really the logic behind this? But the more that that Mars in Cancer learns to tune in with themselves, and the less they don't get themselves in a frenzy over it, the stronger their capabilities will be, the stronger their intuition will be, and the stronger their actions will be. And if it is that the Mars in Cancer leader experiences certain disputes or disagreements, which then result in emotions arising and then things becoming a little bit overwhelming for the Mars in Cancer, it's just a really good idea for them just to step back for a little bit. You know, just go into their office, take a breather, you know, have a cup of tea, look at pictures of their dog. The key just really lies in the Mars in Cancer feeling secure enough within themselves in order to approach the situation. At the same time, this Mars in Cancer leader is going to be highly approachable, which is really going to be beneficial for them as leaders, because it shows that other people are able to approach them and they feel safe and trusting towards the Mars in Cancer leader. The Mars in Cancer leader also isn't going to want to deliberately step on other people's toes, okay? So they're not going to really go looking for different challenges that might disrupt them, or, you know, disturbing certain people to get ahead. But they can just get so overwhelmed by their sensitivities, and they may find it really difficult to control those emotions and those aggressive impulses, right? So an example of someone who actually has Mars in Cancer is Chris Brown. And keeping in mind that Chris Brown was all over the media for hitting, assaulting Rihanna, his then girlfriend at the time. The Mars in Cancer can certainly be great at putting on a brave, courageous face, or appearing physically courageous, like, yes, I've got this, like, I've got this figured out. But underneath, they may not be feeling very good. Now, there are two people that I would like to mention here who both had their Mars in Cancer. Of course, these two gentlemen are no longer with us. These two gentlemen are Robin Williams, okay, and also Chester Bennington. Robin Williams, he actually had Neptune in the 12th house. And his Mars in Cancer was also in the 8th house. And what's further interesting about this is that Chester Bennington also had Mars in Cancer in the 8th house. And the 8th house is the house associated with death and rebirth. So what we're noticing here are two gentlemen, okay? Apparently they took their lives. Two gentlemen by which nobody would have thought, right? You wouldn't have thought. Robin Williams especially. What? Such a funny guy. So funny, so happy. Apparently, not underneath it all. So it is really important for the Mars in Cancer to have some sort of emotional outlet, but not even just that, but just to relax, just to refuel their batteries, just to get away, step away from all of the stimuli, okay, that they are feeling into so much. So a good way could be by them simply going to visit their family for the weekend. Or it could be a matter of them just having a good rant with their mother or with one of their family members, just ranting with them. Oh, this week this all happened and I just want to rant about it, just get it out there, you know, and then they realize, actually, yeah, okay, I feel a little bit better, okay, I'm glad I got that out of my system. Or it could be music, right, where they get themselves involved with music or art or photography, or just they get lost in something creative. What's actually pretty interesting about this is that Pablo Picasso, he had his Mars in Cancer, and then Mozart, he had his Mars in Cancer. And then also William Shakespeare. Did these three people not create masterpieces? And they all had sort of 5th house Leo energy going on. So yeah, you definitely see high with creativity and everything. But I can't help but feel like it's that Mars and Cancer energy that's just pouring all of its emotions into whatever these men created, right? It's as if the Mars and Cancer energy just resonates so deeply with the audience, right? And it just brings them in, swoons them in, and it just does something to the emotions of others. And so from it having such a strong impact on other people, not just their emotions but also the soul, right? Because the moon is connected with the soul. You know how you listen to a piece of music that just moves you so much? But even on that note, right, just music going with here, we have the likes of John Mayer. John Mayer, I have to say, I've cried so many times to his song Free Fallin'. Well, it was his version of Free Fallin', but just the way he sings, his voice. And also another person with Mars and Cancer who's an artist, a music artist, is Lana Del Rey. So with her music, yeah, it gets you right in the feels as well. And it's quite haunting and enchanting, her music too. But you know what, even if it is that you want to get jamming, right, get dancing. I mean, you've got Chris Brown here, you got Kendrick Lamar, you got Cardi B, all have their Mars and Cancer. And when it comes to that Mars and Cancer leader being a parent, oh yes. I mean, take Ashton Kutcher for example, right? He has an Aquarius stellium with his Mars and Cancer. And he said, the greatest lesson in character in my life are my kids. When I had these kids, my wife and I had these kids, and we got to share this amazing honor. I called my parents and I said, I'm sorry because I never knew how much you loved me. Then we have the likes of Pink, which by the way, Pink has her moon in Aries. Now she has 2 children, and I saw today in an article that Pink was calling out trolls online for making comments about her child, okay? So her son was receiving criticisms about his circumcision, and so what she went on to say about this situation was, the negativity that you bring to other people's lives, there is something seriously wrong with a lot of people out there. So here you see our 2 prime examples of those with their Mars in Cancer who are highly protective and loving and nurturing parents. So with that in mind, I would not want to get on the wrong side of a Mars in Cancer parent. No. Especially if they have their moon in Aries. Oh, and when it comes to their sexual partners, okay, when they lead within a sexual relationship, they're going to be very receptive to the needs of their sexual partner. So they're going to know how to satisfy that sexual partner very, very well. So it just might start off where you're just chilling on the sofa. The next thing you know, the Mars in Cancer is on your lap. And let's not actually forget about Stephen King here, because I really want to mention him because I really like Stephen King. He has his Mars in Cancer, but the Mars is in his 12th house in Cancer, and there's certain movies, films that he has created. I mean, we have the likes of It, we have The Shining, we have The Pet Sematary, we have The Mist, we've got Misery, all of these darker themes. So it's that Mars in Cancer in the 12th house energy for him that just is the stream of consciousness, just pouring out everything, you know, the imagination, just going into the stories and going into the themes, you know, going into what he's writing. Overall, the Mars in Cancer leader is going to be one supportive, receptive, and caring leader. And whilst they may not be overly fond at direct combat, they're also very good at being able to feel out the atmosphere and be able to know then how they're going to take action based upon those very signals. And if it is that you happen to have a Mars in Cancer leader within your life, then who knows? Maybe they just might make you some cupcakes. Okay, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the Mars in Cancer, explaining the Mars in Cancer leader. Thank you all so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click that subscribe button. And I will be back with the Mars in Leo video next. Very, very soon. Bye!